Hello, everyone. Hello, YouTubers. This is Anonymous T. Hope you're having an amazing day today. So today we are talking Big Brother, you guys. We got some jailer tea, you guys. So I don't know if you guys were aware, but Sunday night, the podcast reality recaps, as you guys know, they did a solo interview with Joseph for like about an hour and 20 minutes. And then they did a solo interview with Taylor for about an hour and 20 minutes. And then they were doing a Patreon special interview that you had to be, subscribed. You had to pay already in advance. However, there was some stuff going on to where people, unfortunately, were not that signed up, within the past few days prior to Sunday, were not able to access this interview. Were not able to be added in time. And they had said that, their admin person that enrolls people and, all this and that they wouldn't be back until Tuesday. And so like Tuesday rolls around and we still don't have the Patreon, right? We still don't have this interview. And so then we come to Wednesday and, we're still kind of waiting for the interview to see what's taking place. Then they say for people to check their spam to see if there's a link. And initially there was not a link to the interview. And then eventually it kind of just appeared out of nowhere, right? And so we got some tea, though, out of Jailer. There was a really good question towards the end of this. It was like about a 20-minute interview or so. And, what everybody wanted to know was what took place finale night. Like, because obviously there was like all of the rumblings, that, Taylor had some things that she wanted to say to Joseph and this and that. And they wanted to basically find out, the host did, if you guys talked immediately, or how did you guys get around to, reconnecting and everything else? Because basically now if you see them, they're practically inseparable, right? And kind of just picked up where they left off before the twist happened a month ago. And so what they had ended up saying was that, once the finale, once the confetti, everything else took place, everybody, of course, is like hugging Taylor. Her family, of course, is there. And then, you take pictures with Julie Chen and everything else, the top three. And then everybody's like escorted out, right? And so then there's like this process, and this happens on all reality shows, right? There's this process where like you all have to kind of get a debrief, right? And sometimes they go in depth in terms of like how you might be perceived out in the public, but really Taylor said that there was just like some general stuff that they were saying or what have you, and they were all on what was this Zoom call, right? They were all in the Zoom, and they each all had like a handler that's by them. Basically, that's like your person who's like next to you, like with all like helping you out with like your interviews and this and that, but you're still kind of like, they're with you in sequester, and then they're like with you for a little bit, like if you are in jury and about to go to jury, and they're there to kind of make sure like you're doing everything, you're not being exposed to outside information and outside influences and things of that nature. And so it's kind of like the same thing where like you temporarily have a handler too to make sure like you're doing all your interviews and all of your post-show stuff before you are out to the real world and get everything back. And so during this Zoom call, so it was funny because Joseph and Taylor said that they weren't sure, how this was going to go, because each of them thought that they were mad at each other. Taylor thought that Joseph was mad at her because of, the situation the last couple of weeks on the show. And, Joseph thought that Taylor was mad at him because initially when people were coming into the jury house, they were like, Taylor told me to tell you that she misses you and blah, 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 blah. And then as we started to get to the end, which I think it was Alyssa, but as we started to get to the end of like the last jurors to come in, they're telling Joseph like, hey, Taylor's got some words for you. Taylor's got some things to say. Taylor is mad at you. Taylor's going to do blah, 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 blah. She is not happy with you. So they're basically going in, to the finale, like not sure where either person stands. And so, essentially when Taylor confirmed, obviously, and friend zoned again, her runner up, Joseph thought, okay, we got the green light, because at first he thought everything was over, and that they would only be friends or whatever. But then, found out obviously that was not the case. And so, fast forward to after all the finale stuff, and they are all in this Zoom call with their handlers, right? And so really you're not supposed to be like chatting or doing all this other stuff as they're like going through, you know, what they're going through. And so Joseph decides to hit up Taylor in the private chat of Zoom, you guys. He decides to hit her up in the private chat of Zoom and says, hey, and Taylor says, you know, hi or whatever. And I think she also tells him like she misses him. She can't wait to talk to him or whatever else. And so, you know, that was a good sign on Joseph's end, because he's like, okay, she's not mad at me. Like her and I, you know, potentially can, you know, salvage this thing. 'Cause they were trying to get information out of each other without like directly asking certain things to kind of see if they could still pick up where they left off after the show, like they have discussed. And so then from there, Taylor drops her phone number in the private chat and the direct messages and everything else. And then she lets him know, she's like, hey, I've got, you know, press and things to do. I'm going to be busy for, you know, the next couple of hours or so. And so, and kind of put that in the chat to like kind of let Joseph know, like, hey, don't think that I'm ignoring you, but I'm just like, I'm booked, you know, for the next couple of hours after this Zoom call is over. And so it was so cute because Joseph replied in the chat, you guys, you know, I've waited for you for a month. I can wait another 2 to 3 hours. And I was like, oh my God, what? Like, what? That was like the cutest thing, you guys. That was the cutest thing. I have waited for you for a month. I can wait 2 to 3 more hours. And we can get it going. OMG, you guys. OMG. And that just adds even more fuel to the fire, because if you guys will remember on the last jury segment of, you know, Alyssa trying to be messy and trying to spill some tea and everything else, that Joseph at the end of them watching, of course, like the HOH, the veto, and who got eliminated, that Joyce, why do I keep thinking of Joy? I'm thinking of the mole, you guys. The mole's in my head right now. So basically, after that, Joseph, he points up and he's like, one more week. And so a lot of people were confused as far as like what Joseph meant about that one more week. I knew what it was immediately, but people for some reason were thinking, oh, well, this is only like one more week. He has to deal with the people in the jury or whatever. And I was like, no. One more week until he sees Taylor Hale. That's what the one more week was. And it just hits different now that we know like all of these things, that all these little tea droplets that are coming out now about how they were able to finally reconnect and everything else. So there is that. But let me know your guys' thoughts. What do you guys think of this little Zoom chat, little romance, little cute flirting that took place? I don't care if it's, you know, I've waited for you for a month. I can wait 2 or 3 more hours, you guys. How about that? So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.